Hello, hello, hello. It's Knits for Sanity and welcome to my Wip and Chat. Wip stands for work in progress. So grab whatever project you are currently working on, whether that's a craft, another hobby, a chore that you need to do, perhaps you are exercising, and let me chat with you for a while. I'm just going to keep you company for just a little bit of time. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. If this is your 20th time here, thank you for joining me. I am so glad that you stopped by. For those of you who maybe did see some of it, over this past weekend, Black Friday weekend, I did post 2 videos a day highlighting potential gifts for diamond painters. I started that, is it Friday at midnight? No, Thursday at midnight. And that ended technically, I guess, this morning at midnight, the last video posted. So it's a total of 9 videos. And it's just something that I thought would be fun. I wanted to highlight several different businesses, possibly some companies or small businesses that you've never heard of, from the super tiny, from the very, very small Facebook only current business where she just started her page last month, to the more known and slightly larger companies, to a couple of companies that are overseas from us. So I would encourage you to go back and maybe check out a few of those that may be of interest to you. I highlight both diamond paintings and diamond painting accessories. And there is an added bonus in there. It is episode 6, I believe. I end up doing a small whip and chat with my son. It's something that he's really, really wanted to do. And he was so excited when I asked him. I recorded it Friday afternoon because, of course, the kids were home from school. It was Thanksgiving here. And I had asked him, do you want to do a whip and chat with Mama? And he was so excited, guys. It's a pretty sweet whip and chat. It's very short as far as whip and chats go. It is a very short one. I have also never had to edit a whip and chat as heavily as I've had to edit this one. Not because of anything he said, but because of the number of long pauses there were in the video. For my child who never stops talking, and when I say never stops talking, I mean he never stops talking. I have another child like that too. That's child number 3, and she was featured on a Whip and Chat for her birthday a couple weeks ago. He was surprisingly quiet. Toward the end of recording, he definitely did loosen up more, and he was becoming more comfortable. So that was kind of fun to notice. But if you want to smile, check out that Whip and Chat. He had the best time. So, other channel news. This is going to be my last regular Whip and Chat for a while. It's not because I'm going anywhere or anything like that. It's because starting this week, Wednesday. So for you, that'll be tomorrow. It's Monday night for me here, but by the time you see this, it will be Tuesday. So starting on Wednesday, the 30th, I will be beginning a couple of Advent projects. So every day from November 30th through the 24th of December, I will be posting 2 shorter videos, and both of these videos will somehow be Advent related. One video will be featuring my Zesty Advent calendar, which was episode 9 of my Diamond Painting Gifts series over the weekend. So you may want to look at that to get an idea of what it is that I'm doing. But it is a Diamond Painting Advent calendar, and every day I will be filling in 1 square of that calendar. I am starting on the 30th because I figure no one will bother to watch a video on Christmas. This way, I'm hoping to get it wrapped up and posted either super early Christmas Eve morning or possibly even late on the 23rd. hoping that more of you will be able to take the time to see it. In addition to that, the first 12 days that I am doing that diamond painting advent calendar, I will also be opening a 12-day gift calendar from Add More Zest. And on those videos, the videos that I am doing the diamond painting advent calendar, the Zesty advent calendar, I will be sharing a Christmas story every day while I work on my painting. Having said that, this is kind of a shout out, a call out. If you have a really awesome Christmas story and you wouldn't mind that it is told, I would love to hear from you. Of course, I will leave out your name if you want. If you want me to include who you are, I will absolutely do that. Otherwise, I will leave out your name. I'll leave out any identifying details. I'm just looking for some fun or interesting Christmas stories that I can tell while I do my Zesty Advent calendar. I have several of my own, but I don't know if I have or can come up with 25 stories worth. I just don't know. Like, I've come up with several and I've already put a bug in my husband's ear to try and think of good Christmas stories. But I would appreciate any Christmas stories that you would like to share if you would just jot me an email, which can be found in my notes below. I'd really appreciate it. I just want to try and share some good Christmas stories while I'm working on my Zesty Advent calendar. Then the other video that I will be uploading every day is from my Happy Mermaid Yarns Company Advent calendar, which this is something that I had to pre-order way back in June. And so I got that as a gift for myself for my birthday. And while I'm doing that video, I will also be sharing a Christmas fact or holiday fact, interesting little tidbit every day. So those videos will be quite short, just a few minutes long, where I open the Happy Mermaid Yarn Advent Calendar item for the day, and then just a short little did you know type statement. The Zesty Advent Calendar, those videos will be slightly longer, but even there, my plan is to share my story and then actually time-lapse the rest of that video until I get to the very end when you can see the square completed. Why am I doing it that way? Because I want these to be shorter videos. 5 to 10 minutes max is what I'm hoping to do. And with 2 videos every day, that means about 10 to 20 minutes worth of viewing content that would be available for you every day. I'm hoping that it may attract new people to the channel, and it's something that's, I think, a little bit more fun and upbeat feeling for the holiday season, and that's why I want to do it. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to create a gift for you, and that is by way of hopefully viewing pleasure by doing these shorter, very frequent videos. So that is my plan starting, I was going to say the month of December, but technically it starts November 30th, so on Wednesday. I hope that all makes sense to you. If it doesn't, it will as I begin that video process. I think, a couple of days in, you'll have it figured out. But anyway, what that means is my regular Wip and Chats are going to be put on hold. And my unboxings, I do still plan to do approximately 1 unboxing a week. Friday is typically my unboxing day, and I'm going to try and keep that. So on Fridays, you may actually have up to 3 videos posted by me. But again, they should all be short videos. There you go. That's my plan. That's what I'm kind of thinking of as, like I said, kind of like a Christmas gift for you. Just short, sweet, hopefully fun videos that you can watch every single day for almost a month. As a reminder, if you would like a signed Christmas card, not just by me, but from my whole family, You can get one if you would buy me a cup of coffee or send me like an equivalent amount through PayPal. All of that information is in my notes below, and it's something that I talked about in my last Whip and Chat. So if you want to hear more about it, go to my last Whip and Chat where I actually do have all the timestamps in there, and I talk more explicitly about why I am offering this or encouraging the cup of coffee or the PayPal equivalent. But the bottom line is it's because I'd like to try and stay independent. I would like to try and build my channel and never have to become an affiliate with any company. That's my goal. That is my desire. And I really, really, really hope that it's something that I am able to achieve. I have no problem with creators who do become affiliates with people. No problem at all. It's completely fine. It makes perfect sense. And it's a great opportunity. I mean, that is how a lot of creators are able to make money or get product to be able to show and to demo. That's awesome. That's great. But for me, and like I said, I go into it far more explicitly in my last Whip and Chat. I'd like to try and stay independent and just keep that very impartial, non-biased view on everything that I'm doing here. But in order for me to do that, I'm going to need a little bit of help. And when you think about it, for $5 to know that someone is reviewing products that then you may not have to spend, $50 to $100 of wasted money because you get it and realize, I don't like this, versus you could have seen me purchase it and have me tell you, well, this product isn't worth it, or have me purchase it and once you see it, realize, actually, no, that's just not for me. The product is fine. It's just not right for me. So I guess that's my way of trying to explain and give valid reason as to why it is worth it for you to buy me a cup of coffee. I hope that makes sense. And I'm not trying to beg for money. That's not my intention. Not entirely. It's because I guess in a way, yes, I am asking for help with my channel. But it's because I like what I do. I like what I'm doing. And I have gotten a lot of really positive feedback about what I am doing. And so I'd like to be able to continue doing that. I hope that makes sense. And I really hope that I did not offend anyone with any of that. But like I said, if you are interested in more of the reasonings behind why I would like to stay independent and try and remain unaffiliated, go to my last Whip and Chat. And like I said, there are timestamps for that Whip and Chat, and you can go down and just listen even to that section of that Whip and Chat. All right, so moving right along. As you can see, my Gnome Carolers painting here by Diamond Art Club is almost done, and I love it. I love it so much. It has been so much fun to do. I have not done a round drill kit for a little while now, other than, like I said, the Crystal Canvas Art Design Harvest Gnome kit from earlier last month, or maybe that was more September. I think that was actually probably September more. But that was because of the crystals used, I have to single place all of them. So to be able to return to a round drill kit, which already moves faster, and then to be able to multi-place with some of them, this kit is flying right along. It is so much fun. It is so cute. And part of me is, I don't want to say annoyed, but amazed. Diamond Art Club really just has a fantastic product. And like I said, it's not that I'm annoyed by that. It's it's that they also really have like the corner market right now. In my opinion, I think they are the largest diamond painting company that is around at present, which is fine. I mean, they're doing as well as they are because their kits are fabulous. But there's that part of me that is always and will always root for the underdog. And so I have, been branching out a little bit, and I have been saving up money to get kits from some lesser known and very small diamond painting companies. And it's important to keep in mind, most diamond painting companies, by and large, are pretty small still. It's still a relatively new hobby. And so most of what is out there is often still a family-run type business, which is really cool. But I would like to try and expose you to some of the lesser known or unknown companies that are out there. So stay posted for that. That's kind of my goal, is showing you the companies that are well and established, like Diamond Art Club, and, showing you why Diamond Art Club is as well loved as they are, because this kit is fabulous, guys. It's really, really fabulous. Trash has been minimal with my drills. The canvas is crystal clear. I mean, it's been a true joy to work on, an absolute joy. So I'm really excited to almost have this one done. It's so stinking cute. And so hopefully very soon you will see a post review on this, which post reviews and stuff, I will still continue to do those as well. So yes, there may be several days over the next month where you actually get 3 short videos from me. I don't know. But anyway, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm still loving my holiday themed pins from Diamond Art Club's advent calendar. They're fun to work with and they're nice. I like them. This is a good shape for me, I have found. So last week was Thanksgiving if you live in the United States. Well, technically speaking, it was still Thanksgiving whether you live in the United States or not. It's just a matter of, do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Just like there are people overseas that still celebrate Thanksgiving for whatever reason, whether they are an American and, an expat, or perhaps they have an American in their family, and so it's something that they like to do for their family member. I have a friend who lives in Australia, and she married an Australian, so she has lived in Australia for now most of her life. She actually went there on a study abroad trip as a 16 or 17-year-old, found the love of her life, came back to the States only briefly, and then went back to Australia to marry him and has been there ever since. But every year she and I don't remember what she has told me, but she has a couple of American friends. I don't know if it's like another couple where one of them is American, but every year they get together and they have a small Thanksgiving meal, a traditional American or close to traditional American Thanksgiving meal. So that's kind of cool. What we did is, I mentioned we were going down to my folks, which we did do. The kids really were very excited to go, which was really cool because I was worried about it and they were not super stoked about it originally because I'd explained that we'd been home for the last 2 years and we had bacon wrapped filet mignon because we don't really care for turkey that much, and the cousins weren't going to be there, and my parents' new house is really small compared to their old house. And so initially and originally the kids weren't really excited about going down. I mean, they really wanted to see their grandparents and my sisters, their aunts, and then my cousin, who they actually call their uncle. That's a different story. So it's not that they didn't want to see people, but there just didn't sound like a ton of appeal for going. But by Wednesday night, they were all really excited to head down. And it ended up being a really nice day. Dinner was good. It was a smaller affair than what we have maybe ever had. At least not certainly since when I was a child, most Thanksgivings, like our main dinner, it was just the 5 of us. A couple years we would have other people over. Sometimes my mom's parents would come, but generally it was only the 5 of us for like our Thanksgiving main meal. And then in the evening, we would get together with my mom's side of the family that was still local in the area. And then the next day we would travel to Wisconsin, which is where my uncle and aunt and my grandma lived, and my 2 cousins. So and this year, my family arrives, and we are now, we were the bulk of the get-together because my sister didn't have the kids over the weekend. So, it felt kind of weird because it was small compared to what we've had, like I said, in quite some time. But it was nice. It was really nice. My cousin always has 50 million stories to tell. He is a single pastor and he loves to travel. And so he's always traveling. He's always been somewhere since the last time we've seen him. So he always has stories. My kids got along quite well. My parents have a heated garage, which kind of provides like an extra room. They can't get it super warm when it's cold outside, but warm enough for the kids to like play ping pong and stuff. So especially with them moving around, it's fine. But like not warm enough that we'd want to eat out there. I mean, 55 degrees to just sit and eat is a little cool, but 55 degrees when you're a kid and running around playing ping pong is just fine. And then we did watch White Christmas. I was very surprised because I was certain Veda was going to watch it with us. I was just certain that out of all my kids, she would be the one that would be totally into it. But honestly, she was having so much fun with that ping pong table. And for a while, she was out there totally alone. I'm not sure. How do you play ping pong with yourself? I'll have to ask her. But she was having so much fun that she didn't come in right away to watch the movie with us. She did watch it for a little while later. The child who did start out watching it with us and did stay for a good section of it was actually my oldest. So that was a little slightly unexpected for me. But then in the end, eventually, all of the kids ended up not finishing the movie. And even the adults ended up not really finishing the movie well, which is fine. I mean, at this point in my life, I've seen it over 30 times. I mean, we have the movie memorized, line by line, word for word, song by song, because my sister's ex very unexpectedly dropped off the kids that evening. All of a sudden there was a knock at the door, and I went to answer it, and it was my nephews and niece standing there. Like, oh, hello. And I asked my ex-brother-in-law, I said, well, I'll go get my kids so they can say hi to their cousins and everything. And he said, no, I'm just going to drop them off for a couple hours. I'll come back and get them later. I'm like, oh, okay. So I did get to see my nephews and niece for a little bit on Thanksgiving, and my kids did get to see their only cousins, which they were thrilled. Oh, they were thrilled. If you could have heard the shrieks from these children, they were playing hard. They were only together for a little over an hour when we really had to go. Like, we were getting ready to leave anyway. I was thinking about just cutting the movie short. The kids were getting tired. The dog had been home alone for a very long time at that point. But then with the cousins arriving, there was no question. It's like, nope, we are now staying. So we ended up staying quite a bit later than what I had originally thought we would, but for a very good reason. So that's really cool. I have no idea what prompted this. I don't know why he dropped the kids off, but I just want to believe that it was a very, very kind thing of him to do. And my children certainly appreciated it, as did his. So that was our Thanksgiving. As for my husband's side of the family, we really just have his dad. And his dad was working all weekend. And he's at a children's hospital, which I've talked about before. And the man is swamped. I sent a happy Thanksgiving text and everything, and I got back a very brief thanks. There maybe was a same to you in there. I don't even know if he put that much into it. He's just so busy right now because the hospital is so full. RSV is causing havoc. The flu is already starting to cause problems. A lot of sick kiddos out there right now. So please be careful, take it easy, be smart. And that's really all that I have to say about that. Normally we do Christmas Eve with him. This year I have some concerns about our Christmas Eve plans with him. It is the only day of the year that he requests off. Every single year, it is the only day he requests off. And so that means he always works Thanksgiving. He's always working Easter, and he's fine with that because Christmas Eve was the most important day for my husband's family because of a tradition that they started doing, which was putting out luminaries in their neighborhood. And it's something that we have continued to do even as my husband became an adult. Even before we had children and were adults, they still always did luminaries. And my mother-in-law passed away in 2020, and we have still done the luminaries. And if anything, the luminaries mean even more now than before. But this year, he is working Christmas Eve until at least 3, which, if you don't understand how this works in the hospital world, he may be scheduled until 3, but that does not mean that he will be leaving at 3. And even if he manages to get off the floor at 3, he still has notes to do. So he may finish at 3, but then still have an hour worth of notes to do. Or he may not get off the floor possibly at all. I mean, there's just no telling. There is no telling. And I know he's kind of worried about it. And I hope it works out. I really hope it works out. Personally, I hesitate to say this publicly, but personally, I don't necessarily care to do the luminaries. It's just not something that I get into. It's just when the weather is nice, when it's a beautiful night, like 2 years ago, so 2020, the first Christmas after my mother-in-law had passed away, and my father-in-law had just had major heart surgery a few weeks earlier. But that Christmas Eve, the weather was perfect. We had snow and it was snowing, but it was not cold. And it wasn't warm enough that it was wet. Unless you live in a cold region, that may not make any sense to you, but it can be 35 degrees and snowing, but that's going to be really, really wet and not very comfortable. Like, that's the kind of thing that just seeps into your bones. I mean, that chill you to the bone thing, that's what that is. Or it could be like 5 degrees and snowing, and that's just cold. Like, way too cold. I don't want to be walking around lighting candles up and down some street. Some years it's raining. And that's when I really don't want it. I hate doing luminaries in the rain. I mean, hate's a very strong word. I probably shouldn't say that. I very strongly dislike doing luminaries in the rain. I have done it. But 2 years ago, it was perfect. Snow on the ground. It was probably about 28 degrees. So not super cold. It was snowing with the Christmas lights. It was perfect. And so I really hope for my father-in-law, for my kids, and for my husband, Christmas Eve works out okay. I hope my father-in-law is able to leave the hospital at a good time, and hopefully we'll be able to carry on that tradition. That's my most sincere hope. Even though I may not personally care for doing the luminaries, the importance that it is for the rest of my family far outweighs any personal discomfort I may have about walking outside in the rain and lighting candles in little bags with sand. So we'll see. I mean, I will let you know in about a month whether or not it happened, right? What else? So I don't know if you saw it. If you didn't, I would go watch it. Super short clip that I put up, a YouTube short, that my son has called the Turkey Conga line. The day before Thanksgiving, we were looking out our front windows, and there was this long line of turkeys just parading across the front of our property. We see turkeys a lot, but I could probably count on just two hands the number of times that we have seen that many of them parade across the front yard. We see them in the back all the time, or like on our property to the side of us all the time. But actually having that many traipse through our front yard is not normal. And I happened to catch a snippet of it on film, and then I used that as a little Happy Thanksgiving short. Well, I guess when they were talking in school this morning and asking all of the kids what they did for Thanksgiving, the thing that my son decided to talk about was the Turkey Conga line. So I guess if that's what stood out to him, that's cool. If you want to see that short little clip that I got, like I said, just watch that short. I mean, it's like 12 seconds. And I didn't even get all of the turkeys that were walking across their front yard. There were a lot of them. But it's almost like it didn't even really look like they were escaping, because they were just like marching, parading their way. It looked like this turkey parade. I feel more like they knew, it's too late. We're safe. They all have their turkeys already. We're safe, guys. We made it. Woohoo! I don't know. Reminds me of one year. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and it may have been the very first year we lived here, or maybe the second year. I can't remember. But we were leaving our house to go somewhere. And so we would have only had Sylvia as a baby, my oldest as a baby at that point. And we were driving past this field very, very close to our house, and it was full of turkeys. I mean, to this day, I have never seen so many turkeys in one spot before. It was like the turkeys were having a celebratory party, and every turkey in a 10-mile radius was there to partay. I mean, it was, I bet it was like 100 turkeys sitting in this field. It was unbelievable. Like I said, I have still to this day never seen that many turkeys gathered together, like naturally out in the wild. So that was a little bit crazy. I know that I tried to get pictures. I had my camera. At that time, I like almost always had my brand new digital camera on me because I had a brand new baby girl. So it seems like I did try to get pictures, but I don't think I got any decent ones. The problem with turkeys is they blend in really, really well. You know, unless you've had a huge snow dump and they're sitting out in the field, they're very hard to see. They just blend right in. So the pictures I took, I just remember they didn't really turn out, and I didn't figure they would, and they didn't. What is going on in our world otherwise? Crazy busyness. So much busyness. Like, I have these big plans for what I want to do for my YouTube channel, you know, what I want to do for you guys. I want to try and keep things fun, and I want to be really active. But then I look at my planner and I think to myself, you have lost your mind. Starting next week, everything begins. We are almost at full capacity starting this week, but next week we will add, hopefully, the final element, which will be my son's wrestling practices. So, starting next week, we have daughter number 1 will have D&D after school on Wednesdays and quiz bowl practice on Thursdays after school. Daughter number 2 has wrestling practice every day after school, plus she stays for the first hour after school to do the D&D group on Wednesday, and she will also be staying for that first hour after school on Thursday to do the quiz bowl, and then she goes to wrestling practice. Starting next week also begins tournaments, for which there are tournaments every Wednesday night and every Saturday, all day long Saturday. Plus, next week there will also be a Friday night tournament. JV tournaments for wrestling are often held on Friday nights. Daughter number 3 has D&D Wednesday after school, plus she has Odyssey of the Mind practice on... She does not have D&D anymore because she has Odyssey of the Mind practice Mondays and Wednesdays after school, and she also will be staying after school on Thursdays to do quiz bowl practice. Son has dance class after school into the evening on Mondays, where I actually have to pick him up from school early, and then we don't get home until about 7:15, 7:30 at night. And then he will begin wrestling practice, which will be every Tuesday and Thursday evening. And for any tournaments that he decides to do, those will be Sunday morning. Okay, that's their extracurriculars. Now, you add in all of the medical appointments, for which there are many. So many medical appointments. And next month, we're being hit hard. And last week, we did learn some more news. It's not good news. I cannot talk about it yet. However, please keep my firstborn in your thoughts. Send her good vibes, love, prayers, virtual hugs. She needs them. So even more is coming down the pipeline. So yeah, it's insanely busy. Like, insanely busy. I don't know how other people do it. I truly don't. I have no idea how other people do it. And this is one thing that... Okay, so this is getting really, really personal, but I also think it's kind of important sometimes to be really honest about some things, because often people don't understand and don't realize. But this is one thing that I really hate about being autistic, is for me doing all of these things, I see other people that are able to maintain these crazy busy schedules. And yes, they get stressed out and they get burned out. Absolutely. But they still are able to keep going for longer and are able to do more than what I ever could. I can't do it. In addition to that, anytime I am with people, I like being with people, but it is very, very draining. And then I need recovery time. And during my recovery time, I'm basically useless. I am like stagnant. Like I can't really do anything productive during that time because I need to completely rebalance. My senses have been in overdrive and I need to try and regulate them again. It's a whole big thing. And at some point, I think I would like to try and talk more about that, but this does not feel like the appropriate time. So that's just giving you just a little bit of a glimpse and one of my own personal frustrations with myself. And yeah, I guess that's about it. We're just going to leave it there for right now. Yeah, we're just going to leave it right there. So last weekend, not everyone, okay. There are very few people that actually buy my kids presents. We don't have a large family, so there aren't many people involved with gift giving for my kids, but out of the few people who are involved in gift giving for my children, they all wanted lists. So last week, Wednesday, I told all of them that they needed to make lists and that they needed to have lists to me for sure by Friday morning, because that's not right. It was Wednesday. I did all of this on Wednesday. They needed to have lists to me by Wednesday afternoon, because Wednesday afternoon, I wanted to have their Christmas lists ready and sent out to grandparents and aunts and uncle, which is really the cousin. So that was my deadline. I needed those by Wednesday afternoon. Well, guys, first, asking for Christmas lists from kids, any kid, whether 7 years old or 39 years old, is kind of like pulling teeth. They all gave me lists, every single one. Even the husband, even the oldest child gave me a Christmas list, except that Christmas list includes things like, yeah, I'd like another one of these types of stuffed animals. Okay, but they don't tell me which kind, which model, which color. One child even wrote on her list, yeah, so here are a couple of ideas, but basically anything you think I would like. Okay, thank you very much. And it's not that they're trying to be difficult. They really, truly aren't. But then me, being me, I am a very thorough and complete person. I want full information and I want to give full information. So I spent almost an hour per person essentially perfecting these Christmas lists and creating Amazon lists for every individual. And I honestly spent close to 5 hours doing this. And then, I would call, like I did one list at a time, and I'd call over daughter number 3. Like, okay, so this is what you wrote. What did you mean by it? And then I would call them over and say, this is the list that I have for you. Please look it over and let me know what you think. And then they'd look it over and they'd make a couple of tweaks. Like, actually, don't put that down. I don't really need that. Or, I prefer this item over this one, that kind of thing. I spent a long time making these lists. So long that then, of course, I didn't make a list for myself. Do moms ever make Christmas lists? Anyway, I'll get to that though in just a bit. All right, so I did all of this work. I send out these lists while also making it very, very clear, none of us are in a really good place financially. Hold on, is that right? Just a second. I'm talking and not paying good attention to what I am doing. I think. Oh, hold on. I have to look through the camera. All right, so that's all hat up through there. But then are these two hat? Oh, no. No, they are not. See, when I look at this up close, I can't necessarily see, but when I look through the camera, you guys see from a much further distance than I do. I can see it better. And I have changed out one symbol for a crystal from DP with sparklers, but I've only changed it out for the plants in the picture, not the gnomes at all. Nothing of like gnome clothing. So this is not right here. I got to remove these. But those two are okay. Okay, sorry about that long break here. I'm going to try and edit it, but really, I don't know that I have time to edit this video. So you may just have to put up with it. And I am really, really sorry about that. That was not my intention. All right, so I spent a long time making these lists. I send them out. A lot of us are not doing very well financially. I make it very clear to my sisters that you don't need to get anything for my kids. I've already talked to them. And please don't get anything for my husband and me, of course. But of course, we always love giving gifts. And that's the problem. We have tried this in years in the past where it's like, no, let's just not do gifts. We don't have to do gifts. But here's the thing. We all really love giving gifts. I love giving gifts. But on each Christmas list, I did, for everybody, try and come up with a number of items that were $10 and less, so that, knowing that, of course, my sisters are going to want to get gifts. So, trying to keep things very affordable. So I send out these lists, and like everyone asked for them. Even my father-in-law's like, yeah, I need Christmas lists. And then you know what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. It was a total waste of my time. I should not have even bothered, because I was thinking, you don't need to buy necessarily off from the list, right? But you can now use this as like a good guideline. Like now, if you're out shopping and you see an item either from the list or something very similar from the list, you know what to get. Well, no, that is not what ended up happening. It was basically a waste of my time. First, my mother deleted all of the lists that I sent via text message. She deleted them. Now, she did ask me to resend them, but I don't know if that means anything. But I did go ahead and I did resend them all yesterday. But my mother deleted all of them. My sister went out shopping, I think it was yesterday, and she didn't even look at the lists because I kept getting texts from her like, well, would so-and-so like this, is Havelock still into cars and trucks? And I'm just thinking, this is why I made the list, so that you would look at the list and not necessarily buy directly from that list, but see that, yes, quite clearly, my son is still into cars and trucks. He loves Legos. And, this is why I spent so much time making the list. My father-in-law, I did text him, I think it was the day after Thanksgiving on Friday, and told him, I'm going to quickly do that right hat color right now before I attempt and put down the wrong drill again. But I wrote him separately about the older two and some like much larger Christmas requests that they have presumably involving them getting a little bit of cash that they can save toward much larger things that they want to be able to have or to do. for my oldest, she is somewhat encumbered right now in her art because the art tablet she has is so beneath her abilities right now. And the resolution that she can get from it is awful. Just awful. Her images max out at like a 4x6, maybe a 5x7 if we're lucky. So she desperately wants to be able to eventually get a much better art tablet, which, doing some research, probably actually the most affordable option without going like super high tech big time would be an iPad. And in our household, that is just an exorbitantly priced item. But like, that's why she's trying to sell cards and stuff, which has not been going very well. If you're interested in a very unique, like truly unique Christmas gift, she has absolutely adorable greeting cards that are for sale. And I think we're going to actually try and do a reduced price sale coming up in a few days too, just hoping to try and move more of them for her. But that's why she's selling cards. She has started her second commissioned project for somebody to create a logo. And I mean, she gets paid like $35 to create a logo, which I think is an absolute steal. But you're dealing with an 8th grade girl. However, she does a really good job. So, she's just trying desperately to save up money in order to get this. And so I mentioned that to my father-in-law. And then daughter number 2, for her, it's wrestling events that she wants to be able to do. She wants to be able to go to, hopefully we'll have at least one kid that makes it to individual state tournament. And she wants to be able to go to that again. That's very pricey. You need a hotel room. The cost of the tickets alone to go to this event is just ridiculous. It's held at Ford Field, though, where the Lions play. So to rent out this facility, I can't even imagine how much you pay. And then you're trapped in there and you pay so much money for food. You're not allowed to bring anything in, but you're there all day long. And then you have to pay $12 for a burger, $6 for a bottle of water. And you can't just come and go. It's very frustrating. It is so expensive. It's just so expensive. So she wants to be able to do that. And then she wants to be able to go to a wrestling camp again that happens in June in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So these are both of them have very valid things that they want to be able to do. Both of them are things that involve their passions and things that I really, really want for them. It's just stuff that their father and I cannot afford to provide them. And so they are both working really hard to try and earn some money themselves. My daughter crocheted pumpkins a couple months ago. Now she's crocheting bells. She made up her own pattern and everything. So now she's trying to crochet bells to sell. But, $5 at a time just is not going to add up very quickly. So anyway, I sent all of this to my father-in-law separately, letting him know. And I think a lot of it is because he's just very overwhelmed with work, which I understand. But he writes me back and he's like, I'm just going to send you a check and you just get everyone what it is that they want or need. Oh, okay. So again, why did I spend 5 hours making Christmas lists? I didn't have 5 hours to spend working on these Christmas lists. And then it was pointless. It was a waste of time. I mean, at first when I sent him the original lists, he was like, oh, thanks. And be sure to send me yours. Okay. But then I actually forced myself to make a list. It's not a great list, but I forced myself to make a list and was going to send it to him after I, wrote about the girls. But then I got that reply. So then it was like, oh, well, never mind. Oh, no, I wasn't going to send him the list actually, because I told him that with the amount that he helps out with the kids so that they can do their activities, he's always really good about if we ask him for, hey, can we have a couple $100 so that Havelock can do this, to cover the pay to play fees for school or something. He's always been so helpful. And so I told him that that was Christmas gift enough for me. And it honestly is. We live in the middle of nowhere. My kids don't have neighbor kids to play with. There is nothing local really that they can do other than being involved in these extracurricular activities that are all so expensive. So it's really important to me that they're able to do this kind of stuff. And he's always been so helpful. And so that is gift enough for me. I don't want anything else. I don't need anything else. That's more than enough. That's right. So I had made the list, but then decided that I wasn't going to send it to him. But then after getting his reply that, oh, I'm just going to send you a check, then I really felt stupid because now I'd wasted even more time making lists for what purpose? There was no purpose. It was a waste of my time. So there you go. That's my frustration, but not frustration about the Christmas list situation. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Fill me in. And I forgot my community question again this week. Boy, vey. Well, not entirely true. Because I had asked for Christmas stories. If you have any good Christmas stories, please share. I want to hear them. So, I think that about wraps it all up. We are pretty much snowless now. We got hammered. In the end, I think I said 12 to 14 inches, but I think it actually was 14 to 16 inches worth of snow is what we got. And now it's basically gone. Over the weekend, I think yesterday it was like 51 degrees outside. Today it was probably about 41. So basically all the snow is gone. We got a couple of small piles left in the woods, and that's about it. Obviously it's not going to be gone forever because it's still only the end of November, but just to show you how fast 16 inches of snow can just disappear. A week, less than a week, it can just be gone. It's pretty fast. But otherwise, I think I'm about ready to end this here. Definitely, please, if you have a really good Christmas story, let me know. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to go into great detail. Just a good Christmas story. Please share. Drop me an email. I would really love it. I'd appreciate it immensely. And then look for me starting Wednesday, 2 times a day, short videos. Like I said, my goal is I just want these to be short, fun little videos with a little unboxing, a good story, an interesting fact, just fun, short, sweet, festive, good times. That's my hope. That's what I want to try and do for you this month. And I hope it's appreciated. That's really about all I can say is I hope you enjoy it. I just want you to enjoy it. That's it. All right, guys. That wraps this up. As I always say, please practice kindness. This time of year, it can be really hard to practice that kindness sometimes. And I know that. But take a few extra breaths. Count to 10 if you have to. Reorient yourself. And then just be kind. Kindness is the best option all of the time. And in return, I sincerely hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. I hope good things head your direction. And I will see you again real soon.